Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Hook, Line, and Shifter, brought to you by yours truly, Bob McCarty. Today's show, a little bit on the short side, but I don't know if you're going to mind or not, because the single track secrets is going to be something that you'll probably really enjoy watching this week. Today we've got San Felasco, round 6 of the Florida State Championship Series up in Alachua, Florida. I'll go into some details about what you can expect for that race coming up this weekend. Single track secrets, like I said, it's going to be another Moto Monday at Markham Park. Really, really cool camera perspectives. Questions from the fans. And of course, man, I can't do this without any of my sponsors. Orchist Technologies, leaders in worldwide telecommunication. ESI Grips, Race, Chunky, Extra Chunky, No Numb Hands, plenty of assortment of colors. Make that bike look pretty damn good. ESIGrips.com. Don't forget about my code HLS2025 to get yourself 20% off site-wide. U-Cycling. Oh, man. If you haven't tried their stuff yet, it's your own fault. Go on to their website, buy something, use my discount code HLS2025. Amazing clothing, amazing cycling clothing. Mash Mobile Vet. This is one that I'm hoping that it catches on, and I'm hoping that you guys are using it. For those of you out of South Florida, mashmobilevet.com. Very, very stressful taking your animal to the vet. Stressful on them, stressful on you. Mash Mobile Vet will bring an entire mobile hospital right to your front door. Bring your little pet right out that front door, walk onto the bus, get a full veterinarian service, bringing that entire hospital right to your front door. Mashmobilevet.com. POC helmets, amazing helmets. MIP system, ventilated, assortment of colors. NV wheels, carbon wheels, amazing carbon wheels. They're on my race bike. If you're up in San Felasco this weekend in Alachua, check out my race bike with those NV wheels. Pirelli tires. I'm actually going to come back to those Pirelli tires because I want to show you something that I've been talking about for a few weeks now. And then, of course, Absolute Black. Absolute Black chain rings, brake pads, a whole assortment of product. I've been on Oval for years, and I will not use anything else. By all means, check out absoluteblack.com. So I said I was going to come back to Pirelli. So Pirelli tires, they came out with a new tire. And I keep referring to this tire. It's a Pirelli new M Race Compound 2.4. They changed the compound of the tire. The rubber compound has actually changed. The tread pattern has actually changed considerably from their old M. Currently my front tire, and I have been testing this one in the back. So when you look at a tire, the main thing is you want to look at the center tread of the tire, an intermediate tread, and an outermost tread. Center tread, keeping the concept pretty simple. The closer the knobs are together, the better the rollability of the tire is going to be. The further the knobs are spaced apart, rollability isn't necessarily going to be there, or it's not going to be as good as something like this where they're tight. The more they're spaced out, the looser, the muddier the conditions can be. Therefore, each knob is going into the surface trying to create traction. Intermediate tread is when you're kind of starting to lean the bike over. What kind of intermediate tread do you have? And then outermost tread for when you're trying to lean the bike over. One of the other important pieces is that every tire winds up having channels in it. Channels are the grooves that go down either side, and it gives you the ability to shed the dirt out of the tire, keep that tire clean. This Pirelli M is their new race compound, their new race rubber compound. 2.4 is the standard protocol these days on my NV wheels, which are 30 mil ID wheels, and then running PSI of about 15 to 16. Some courses I'm down at the 14 PSI. Also looking for a certain amount of tire roll while maintaining the traction, and not so much tire roll that I feel like I'm going to blow the bead off of the rim. So man, can't say enough about Pirelli tires. Check them out. They have a whole line of tires also, whether you like the new M compound, they have an XC, RC, rear specific. Check out their full line of tires. This tire retails for about $99. I'm sure you can find it a little bit cheaper online somewhere, but again, an amazing tire. Oh, one of the points that you're from my personal experience, laying up this tire for the first time is a little bit challenging. It's a little bit tight of a bead. They do that on purpose so you can reuse the tire. Technically speaking, tubeless tires are meant to be laid up once. I know. I get it. Super expensive $100 tires that you're going to lay up more than once. But having said all that, manufacturer spec says you're only supposed to lay up the bead of the tire one time. So if you break the bead, you got to take it off the wheel. Technically, you're not supposed to reuse it. Just telling you what the manufacturer says. I know none of us do it. So anyways, this new line of Pirelli tires are going to be a little bit tight on that initial bead set. All right, the opening quote today. Your body can withstand and adapt to almost anything. Your mind is what you have to convince. How powerful is your conviction? I was thinking about this one today. The reason this one came up today was this morning was our first cold snap for the end of the year. Yeah, it's colder in January and February. Now that summer's over, this was our first cold snap in South Florida. For those of you in the rest of the country, you might not understand this and think that I'm a wuss, but hey, this is what we're dealt with. When it's 85 to 95 degrees every day, when you get up in the morning and it's 51, it's kind of cold. So this morning, alarm clock went off, same time it goes off every day, 3:50 in the morning, walked outside. God, a little bit on the chilly side, just a little bit on the chilly side. Put on all my warm weather clothing, got on that bike, and I did not want to be there. I'll be the first one to tell you I did not want to be there. Miserable. In the route that I take out in the Everglades, and by the way, my teammate Marco, training mate, was there with me, suffering. One of the things that gave me the ability to overcome my decision this morning was a very simple quote, very similar to what this one was about how powerful your mind is and your body. Your body can overcome. My body's going to be just fine out there. It's overcoming your mind. You have, and I put this in one of my older episodes, you have, or most people have, a 100% success rate when they want to do something. You have a 100% success rate when you want to go and ride your bike. You have a 100% success rate when you want to go to the gym. What is your success rate when you don't want to go to the gym? What is your success rate when you don't want to get on your bike and train? The most successful athletes, it's not about what they do when they want to do it. It's about what they do when they don't want to do it. This morning was nothing but a mental discipline. 60 miles of that cold, relentless wind. By the way, at a certain point this morning, I think I was going 9 miles an hour, pushing 350 watts. 9 miles an hour. Well, what can I say? I'm a glutton for punishment. More so, I'm a glutton for challenging my brain. Did not want to be out there. But you know what? When the ride was over, both Marco and I were talking about it. It was completely well worth the effort this morning. So 4 o'clock in the morning, when it's 51 degrees, that bed is really comfortable. You get up later in the day, you're going to have nothing but regret. Or later that morning, you're going to have nothing but regret. Get up, do the workout. You'll be much more productive and challenging that brain, making your conviction, challenging that brain's conviction. All right. San Felasco. We got San Felasco coming up this weekend in Alachua, Florida. Gone riding round 6 for the Florida State Championship Series. What can you expect from San Felasco? First of all, the lap is long. The lap is approximately 10 miles long with about, pulled up the data from last year, about 240 feet of elevation gain per lap, per that 10-mile lap. The way this course works, depending upon the class, the expert class and the elite class, they actually have to do 2.5 laps. You do 2 full laps, and then you do 1 half lap. 2 full laps at 10 miles, and then 1 half lap at approximately 5 miles. So they're 25-mile race for the experts. Sport has to do 2 full laps. You don't actually have to do the half lap. Base has to do 1.5 laps. So 1 full lap and then a half lap. Novice has to do 1 lap. And then the kids run a different course. The 10-mile lap has 240 feet of elevation gain. The half lap has 120 feet of elevation gain. That 120 feet is also going to come in the first half, or approximately the first 3 miles of the race, of the half lap. From there, you're somewhat up on top of a hill, and you get to descend pretty fast downhill and then go into single track where there is not much elevation. So all your elevation gain for the half lap is actually going to come in the first 3 miles, the last 2 miles downhill, and then relatively flat to the finish. Lap times, top experts and elites are going to be turning somewhere around 40-minute laps for the long lap. So their 2 laps would be 2 40-minute laps. And then the half lap, they're probably going to run somewhere around 17 to maybe 19 minutes. Really, really fast. Some of the base riders, you're going to be up around the 55 to 58-minute laps. Keep in mind, this is all based on what the course layout was last year. It doesn't necessarily change a whole lot, but just in case it does, just so you have a reference, lap times might be a little bit faster, a little bit slower, but it is always 2.5 laps, 2 laps, 1.5, or 1 lap. San Felasco is an absolutely beautiful course, way north, a little bit north of Gainesville. For us out of South Florida, it's about 5.5 hour drive up there. It's one of our far rounds next to Tallahassee and Jacksonville. All right, next segment, single track secrets. Hope you like this one. This was a Moto Monday with myself, Julio, Marco, Noah, and Rodrigo. All of them made the footage. Really hope you enjoy this camera perspective. I tried talking my way through this one. Unfortunately, I had a mic problem, but hopefully you enjoy this video. When I have the camera attached to Julio's back and then to my back, and then the guys had a chance to each run really close to me so you can get a chance to see what they do. As always, check out the line selection, check out what our legs are doing, and check out the limbs. What are your arms doing? Again, referring to those 3 L's: lines, legs, and limbs. Hope you like single track secrets from another Moto Monday at Markham Park. Okay. lost the outside leg on that one. Nice. Nice carve. Thank you. Thank you.
Are you behind?
Thank you. Thank you. Have fun.
Yep.
Check again. Alright.
I got Julio following me. So job, Marcia. Crushing it. Thank you. You got time for one more?
Yeah.
All right, I hope you liked that Moto Monday at Markham Park. Really, really digging that camera perspective. I think I'm going to run that one a little bit more, in addition to running an extra handlebar cam. This way you can kind of see what's going on behind, as well as see what's coming up in the on any of the trails that we're riding. Next segment, questions from the fans. Questions from the fans. And this one I get quite a bit. Hey, Bob, I'm really struggling with hole shots. What, if any, is the secret to getting them right? So another great question. You got any questions for me? Please send them to mtbcoachbob@gmail.com. mtbcoachbob@gmail.com. So this question was about hole shots. And as always, I ask, how many hole shots have you done? How many races have you done? And usually the response is 10, 12, 15. They haven't gotten it. So, okay. How many hole shots have you practiced? I try to do a couple, one or two before the race. All right, here's the piece of advice for trying to get better at hole shots. Muscle memory, body position, and consistency. You're not going to pick a new body position and all of a sudden get a hole shot. What you have to do is find a position that works and stick with it. Stick with it every single time you do a hole shot. What is the position that I would recommend? Number one, bulldog position. Elbows up and forward. Number two, both brakes locked. Both brakes locked. Number three, I start with my weak leg. My right leg is stronger than my left leg. Therefore, I start with my left leg clipped in. By having my left leg clipped in, I don't have to worry about clipping in on the start with my leg that isn't any good. Clip in with my right leg. It's the powerful leg. It'll help me take off at the start. Consistency, consistency. Elbows up, brakes locked, weak leg on the crank. If you have the cranks and this is level, I go one or two clicks up from level with that weak leg. The foot that is not clipped in this case, my right leg is directly in front of the crank arm, closer to the front wheel. Close to the front wheel, directly in front of the crank arm. Reason for that is when the whistle goes off, I have pressure on my leg that's clipped in. When I hear the whistle, I simply let go of the brakes. My right foot that's on the ground, all it has to do is push off and go directly backwards right onto the pedal. In a perfect world, you're trying to catch the pedal on the upstroke. You're trying to catch the pedal on the upstroke, up and over the top of the pedal stroke, and then really locking that foot in on the downstroke. One of the things to always remember, let me backtrack. What gear am I in? 4 down from the top. High gear, low gear, I really don't know how to describe that. I just know I'm 4, maybe even 5 down from the top, somewhere between 4 and 5 down from the biggest ring in the back. I run a 36 oval in the front, a 1052 SRAM cassette in the back. So whatever that gear ratio is. The reason I say 4 or 5, a lot is dependent upon the conditions that's underneath the tire at the time. Harder packed the conditions are, I'd probably go into 4 gears down because I know I'm going to have the torque and traction off the line. A little bit looser conditions, I might go into the 5th gear down from the top because I need a little bit slower jump off the line. How do you choose the gear that you want to jump off the line with. You're going to choose the gear based on how effective you are at clipping in. The higher you are on the cassette, up towards the bigger side of the cassette, that crank arm is going to come around a lot faster, which means you have to be able to clip in pretty fast. The slower the crank arm comes around means you're not that good at clipping in. You're going to get a slower jump off the line, but you're guaranteed that your foot is going to be able to clip in. You might start a little bit further down on the cassette, somewhere around 6 or 7 down on the cassette. Gear selection, and be consistent. Be consistent with that gear selection. Whatever the body position is that you choose and whatever the gear selection that you choose, do it every single time. Final part. You don't just practice a hole shot 2 or 3 times before a hole shot. Hole shots require muscle memory. That initial clip in requires muscle memory. Probably can't hurt to 1, 2, maybe 3 times a week when your training sessions are over or before your training sessions. Duplicate a hole shot. Duplicate 3 or 4 hole shots. How about 5? And by the way, to practice a hole shot, once you get yourself clipped in, you do not need to do the sprint. It takes too much energy. What you're really focused in on is, can you clip in? That's the main goal. Can you get yourself clipped in? Once you get yourself clipped in, you shouldn't get your ass in the saddle. You should be out of that saddle, chest leaned over, hammering, absolutely hammering down on those cranks. Let's go over it one more time. Elbows up, brakes locked, gear selection consistent, somewhere 4, 5, or 6 down from the biggest gear. Weak leg clipped in, strong leg on the ground, directly in front of the pedal, close to the front wheel. Pressure on the crank arm, brakes locked up, listen for the whistle. Once you hear the whistle, simply let go of those brakes. Your foot that's on the ground goes directly backwards to the crank arm. You're trying to clip in on the upstroke or get your foot really close to the pedal on the upstroke. As you go up and over the top, you want to make sure that you're fully clipped in on the downstroke. Should never be in that saddle. Clicking away at the gears. Practicing hole shots. 2 or 3 before a start of a race isn't going to cut it. Main thing, whichever technique works for you, stay consistent. Stay consistent. The one that I've used, or the one that I'm using, is the one I've been using forever. It's a great recommendation of how you should try and get started with a consistent hole shot. Great question given to me this week. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free. mtbcoachbob@gmail.com. Next week, we're going to have the full breakdown of San Felasco, all the results from the weekend. Again, Florida State Championship Series, round 6. Yep, round 6 at San Felasco in Alachua, Florida. Who's going to be on that show? Stay tuned, and you're going to see who it is for next week. Once again, I can't do any of this without my sponsors, Orchist Technologies, ESI Grips, U-Cycling, MASH Mobile Vet, POC Helmets, NV Wheels, Pirelli Tires, and Absolute Black. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you for sticking with me for another episode of Hook, Line, and Shifter. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hopefully we'll get a chance to see a bunch of you next weekend in Alachua, Florida for Gone Riding's Florida State Championship Series 2025, Round 6 at San Felasco. Have another great training week. Try and stay warm out there. Thank you again. I was your host, Bob. Bob McCarty.